This synthesizer was still working. The sound was still there, but the display was slowly becoming useless. The backlight was weak, the characters were hard to read, and every time I wanted to edit a sound, I felt like I was fighting the instrument instead of playing it. And that bothered me, because these machines are not dead, they are not obsolete in the musical sense. They still have something very particular inside them. But when the display fades away, access to the machine fades away with it. So I did not want to just patch an old display and hope it would survive a little longer. I wanted a proper modern replacement. That is why I designed this OLED display module, the PCB, the hardware and the firmware behind it. The goal was not to modernize a synthesizer in a way that changes its identity. The goal was simply to make it readable again. Clear display, stable operation and no more dependence on old electroluminescence backlight system. Today I will show the installation in a Casio VZ-10M. The process includes the display replacement itself, but also some important work on the power supply, including the 7805 regulator and the old high voltage backlight circuit. And before we begin, please take this seriously. This is not a beginner modification. The unit contains mains voltage and the power supply area can be dangerous. Only do this if you know what you are doing.
The idea was simple. Do not change the character of the synthesizer. Just give it a display that is bright, readable and easy to read again. And with the synthesizer like the VZ1 or VZ-10M, the display is not just a small detail. It is the window to the whole machine. If you cannot read the parameters, the instrument starts to look like a black box. You cannot access to it. At first I was thinking about to repair the old display, the backlight, and change the electroluminescence foil on it, but in the end I decided to think about to build a completely own design of a new display with a new modern OLED technology on it. And so I came up with this solution here, and it is also the whole PCB was designed on KiCad. I also write the firmware for this, and the firmware was not easy to write because these old machines had a really difficult display protocol. You need a proper logic analyzer to read the protocol and to interpret them and to think about how you can write a code for it. And in the end it should work with the ESP32 I used here. It was not only this PCB board, it was also here an adapter board to make it possible to connect the new display replacement to the main board. One important thing I have to mention, before you open this device, please be informed. There are main voltages here, so don't do it if you are not familiar with electronics. If you open this device, every time unplug it from the mains voltage, because this voltages here on the main voltage section can kill you. If you are not familiar with this kind of stuff, don't touch it. Ask a technician who can help you. Alright, now let us open this device and change the display on this machine. and we will after see how this new display looked like. So in my intro I show you the VZ-10M already opened, and here now we open it again. I removed already some screws, so I don't want bother you with to show you how much screws this device have. It's pretty obvious. And now you can see here, this is the old flexible ribbon cable which connects the display to the main board. So we have here some more screws directly under the front panel. I remove them because this way I have good access to the old display, and it's much more easier to remove and install the new OLED display. So as you can see, we have a lot of screws here to remove. So after removing the cover casing, you can see here's a ribbon cable for the display. Just pull it off the main board and you will be able to remove also the front panel. Some more wires to remove from the main board here. Put it on side, and as you can see now we have better access to the back side of the front panel, and here you can see the old display, and just unscrew the old display from the front panel. And now it is really easy to remove the old display from the front panel. So we have still one wire connected to the old display. This wire is for the backlight panel. It is connected to a circuit on the PSU, and it provides the backlight with approximately 80 volts of alternating voltage, sorry for that. And we have to remove this wire from the PSU unit. To be able to flip over the main board, there is a power connector. We have to remove it also. So to be able to flip over the main board, there are still some wires connected to it. Here I remove the last one, and now it is possible to flip over the complete main board to see the circuitries underneath it. And in the middle one you can see here's a PSU unit from the Casio VZ-10M, and this wire here is the last wire from the old display, and this wire provides 80 volts for the electroluminescence foil. So we put it on the side and continue with the PSU. So we need this wire, and we have to solder it to the new 7005 voltage regulator. This wire will provide our new display replacement with a separate 5 volts from the voltage regulator, because the mainboard connector where we have also 5 volts, but this current capability of the mainboard 5 volts are not sufficient enough. So that's why you have to solder the red wire as shown here and the black wire in the middle of the 7005 voltage regulator, and this will provide enough current to power the new OLED. But before you do that, you have to change the 7805 voltage regulator here. and use one with 1.5 amps of current capability. The factory installed voltage regulator is only for 500 milliamps, and it will be not sufficient enough to power the OLED display. And the last modification on the PSU is to remove this T1 transistor, and by removing it, it will disable the 80 volts power circuitry for the electroluminescence foil on the old display. If left, this circuitry can create audible noise because there is no load anymore on it, because we don't have any more electroluminescence foil. Alright, now we can proceed to install the OLED display. For that we have to remove this metal frame here, because we want to prevent any short circuits when we install it, and I recommend to remove it. So the installation is pretty easy. The form factor of the PCB itself is made so it exactly fits in the mounting holes there. Just use the same screws to fix the OLED display on the front panel. And the last steps are flip over again the main board, and here is a trick. Because this wire is not long enough, you can just route it through the main board like so, and it will be exactly in the length to reach the display connector. Don't forget, of course, to connect the power wire for the main board. After you put it all back together and connect all the wires, so here's a really important thing to notice. This display connector on the main board and the adapter PCB is a little bit difficult to insert, so you have to be sure that you really put it gently inside the display connector, because if this is not done properly, you will not have an OLED display screen. So please verify that this connection is correct, and also here the power cable for the OLED is connected and everything is connected, and this is pretty much it. And now we can make a small test before we close the casing. Just plug in the mains voltage and give it a go. If everything is done well, you will see here a starting screen from the VZ-10M and the normal operating process. As you can see, the display is really crispy, and the OLED display is really doing its job well here. So enjoy this OLED display in action. And by the way, all the information you need to build and install this OLED display by yourself, you will find a GitHub repository. I will share the link in the description of this video, and you will find there everything you need, the Gerber files, the installation guide, and the binary files to flash the ESP32. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, write in the comments, and see you next time.